Schools throughout Indiana have been struggling since the COVID-19 pandemic, but it's not just the pandemic causing issues.
One Ball State alumni is focusing on increasing equity and inclusion at Ball State.
Residents in Richmond, Indiana evacuating earlier this afternoon, all about the fire that took place.
And updates on yesterday's deadly shooting in Louisville, Kentucky.
Drying in the 70s right now, but we're looking at some scattered rain and storm chances as we get into this weekend. I'll have the details coming up.
Delaware County's only live television newscast from Ball State University's Unified Media Newsroom. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening and thanks for being with us. I'm Tara Knichny.
And I'm Anna Drake. As the public school year is winding down, some schools are still struggling to fill positions.
Olivia Sloniker joins us to tell us more. Olivia?
Thanks, guys. So, since the end of the coronavirus pandemic, Indiana has found the demand that they just can't fill: teachers. The statewide shortage has been in full swing for about 2 or 3 years now, and there hasn't been much improvement. Go ahead and take a look.
There's been a lot of teachers since COVID that just never returned to positions, and it's left a lot of school districts scrambling.
But it's not just the virus or school security or even censorship in the classroom. What current and future teachers are really concerned with is salary.
I think students who are in college, they look at teacher compensation. And again, I think it's very important that our legislators, they remain steadfast in making sure that teachers are compensated.
Compensation, that's the problem. The ongoing teacher shortage is hitting schools hard, and Muncie is no exception. At Northside Middle School alone, there are 5 positions in need of filling, and even more are needed at other schools, such as Southview and Grissom Elementary. That's why this local school corporation is taking more steps to ensure that their administration is getting exactly what they deserve.
Just recently, our school board has approved a new program that allows us to provide a $5,000 stipend to any teacher, a certified teacher through the state of Indiana, that has been deemed highly effective either in our district or an accompanying school district that wants to come in and teach at one of these 2 schools in our system that have had some retention problems over the last couple of years.
On top of that, Muncie is implementing a referral bonus to teachers in the MCS Corporation. Any staff member that brings in a teacher to work in the district will receive a one-time bonus. And on top of that, they're offering an incentive to bring in more substitute teachers.
So what we have done is we have added another program that's been in place since the start of the semester, and that is create positions where if you are a certified teacher or maybe you are a retired teacher, then we are paying $210 a day for those people to come into the classroom, which is quite frankly more than double what a lot of school districts are paying.
Now, if the school board approves a measure proposal actually being voted on next week, Muncie will rank as the highest paying public school in the state. But the Muncie community schools still have gaps to fill. They're in need of instructional aides, special needs assistants, and interventionists, among other positions. To apply to any of these positions, you can visit the Muncie Community Schools website.
Thank you so much, Olivia. Ball State alumni and co-founder of the organization Gang Gang, Melania Simone Bacon, had her first campus-wide lecture in Pruis Hall this afternoon. Bacon discussed the intersection between arts and culture, civic pride, and conversations about race. Bacon co-founded Gang Gang in 2020 during the pandemic. The goal of the organization is to produce more culture, beauty, and equity across cities. Gang Gang also has a fine art fair called Butter. According to Gang Gang, Butter, quote, is a multi-day fine art fair and celebration that seeks to elevate Black artists.
Some residents in Richmond had to evacuate today after industrial fire on Northwest F Street. Evacuation orders are still in place for anyone within 0.5 miles of the fire. According to Wayne County EMA, the fire has been contained on 3 sides. Here's a look at how large the fire was this afternoon. Nearby cities could also see the smoke. There are no injuries or deaths reported, and if any people need shelter, they can go to the Bethesda Ministries. And that's really, I'm from Richmond, and that's really sad to see that and see it from that point of view. And Lance actually caught that on radar.
Yeah, earlier this afternoon, the smoke was actually intense enough to where it was actually being picked up on the radar. It was pretty intense at one moment across Richmond, but as of recently, it's actually been fizzling out, which is obviously a good sign. Now, going back and going over into Muncie right now, we're at 72 degrees, or 68 degrees in Muncie. Excuse me, that numbers change up on me real quick. 61 degrees in Fort Wayne, 63 in Indianapolis, 64 degrees in Champaign and south in Bloomington, 63 degrees. Now, something to keep an eye on as we go throughout the later parts of this week will be more 70s, dry conditions, but those dry conditions start to fade when we get into this weekend with some potential for some showers and storms. I'll have more on that in just a little bit.
Thank you, Lance. A mass shooting at a bank in Louisville, Kentucky yesterday has left at least 5 dead and several others injured, including a 26-year-old rookie officer who graduated from the police academy less than 2 weeks ago.
Officer Nicholas Wilt was shot in the head while engaging with the shooter. He remains hospitalized in critical condition. Ivan Rodriguez is in Louisville with the latest.
A community in mourning.
Our city is heartbroken for the loss of friends and loved ones.
Following another mass shooting in America. Audio from a Louisville Metro Police dispatcher shedding light on the terrifying moments Monday morning when a gunman opened fire during a staff meeting at Old National Bank.
25-year-old white male, Connor Sturgeon, 6'4". He texted a friend, called a friend, left a voicemail. He's going to kill everyone at the bank, feeling suicidal.
The horror unfolding live on the gunman's Instagram, which parent company Meta took down. Officials combing through that video say the shooting lasted for about a minute before Sturgeon was shot and killed by police. Investigators now searching for answers.
There was a search warrant and that was taking place on yesterday at his home. And so we are hoping that items that were recovered that will reveal why this happened.
As the city mourns the loss of 5 people, including 63-year-old Tommy Elliott, who some Kentucky lawmakers considered a friend.
Tommy was a great man.
Tommy touched a lot of lives.
Tommy Elliott helped me build my law career, helped me become governor, gave me advice on being a good dad.
Some members of the community are calling for action.
Somebody's family doesn't have a loved one tonight.
After yet another shock of gun violence.
We must work together to end this plague of gun violence on our country.
In Louisville, Kentucky, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Recent bank failures may be impacting the real estate market. What this means for businesses.
Plus, Juul's recent lawsuit with West Virginia. What the company has to say about the settlement next.
I love you.
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know. It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you. Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back. A Delaware judge has ruled that Dominion voting systems can't bring up the January 6th insurrection during its upcoming defamation trial against Fox News. The decision was announced today as the judge considered nearly 24 rulings on pretrial motions. Dominion is suing Fox News over the right-wing network's reporting of false claims that Dominion machines rigged the 2020 election. However, nearly all of those statements mentioned in Dominion's suit occurred before January 6, 2021. Delaware Superior Court Judge Eric Davis said today that the case isn't about whether Fox News influenced the insurrection and that invoking January 6 would be too prejudicial to the jury. Jury selection in the case begins Thursday. Dominion is seeking $1.6 billion in damages, but Fox denies any wrongdoing.
Stocks closed again today as investors wait for inflation readings and earnings reports. JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup will all report their quarterly earnings on Friday. Investors are watching to see how much recent bank failures have affected the sector. Some are already seeking safe havens as Bitcoin climbs above $30,000 for the first time since June.
Investors and regulators are on high alert for the sign of trouble in financial system following recent bank failures. Now they're honing in on the downturn in the $20 trillion U.S. commercial real estate market. Gloria Pazmino explains the potential threat posed by America's empty offices.
The COVID-19 pandemic brought a major change to how many businesses operate.
For so many people, not going to the office as much as they have before has had a really seismic impact on commercial real estate.
And a potential problem for America's banks.
There's no question that there is some risk in the system associated with these changes simply because so much has changed.
Across the U.S., offices sit vacant or underused. Average occupancy is less than half of where it was in March of 2020, according to data from security provider Castle. And that is dragging down the value of these properties.
The real question is for the owners of these properties, whether they are experiencing financial distress or will in the future.
The problem, banks lend significant money to this sector. Goldman Sachs estimates that 55% of U.S. office loans sit on banks' balance sheets. The decrease in values puts more strain on already stressed out banks.
We're well aware of the concentrations people have in commercial real estate.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell remained confident when asked about the danger posed by commercial real estate last month.
The banking system is strong, it is sound, it is resilient, it's well capitalized.
I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
Juul has agreed to pay out millions of dollars to settle a lawsuit accusing the company of deceptive advertising and marketing. Yesterday, West Virginia's Attorney General announced the state had settled its lawsuit with Juul Labs. The e-cigarette company will pay a total of $7.9 million to the state. The lawsuit accused Juul of misleading consumers about the nicotine strength in its products and of targeting teenagers through social media by using celebrities, popular bloggers, and influencers. In a statement, Juul said the settlement was, quote, another step in its ongoing commitment to resolve issues from the company's past.
We're dry right now. In fact, we're a bit too dry. We have some elevated fire dangers as we go throughout tomorrow. Now, what hazards does that bring? I'll have the details coming up.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours.
Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Emotes say a lot, but they can't say it all. Think your guildmate is struggling? Try these dialogue options. Go beyond emotes. Check in with your guildmates at seizetheawkward.org.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other.
on a deeper level. Father,
Cosplayer,
mentor.
actor.
It's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward.
come together,
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Welcome back to NewsLink at 9. We're starting things straight off looking at our current winds across the area. Winds out of the south-southwest about 5 miles per hour in Muncie, 8 miles per hour in Indianapolis, 6 miles per hour in both Lafayette and Terre Haute. We did have a breezy afternoon, but things have started to calm down, but they'll look to actually pick back up as we get into the later parts of tonight. Now, look at our current temperatures across the area. We're still at 68 degrees in Muncie, 63 degrees in Indianapolis, 69 in Lafayette, 63 Bloomington, out west in Champaign, 64 degrees. Now, looking at our 24-hour temperature change, we're 8 degrees warmer at this point now than what we actually were at yesterday. Now, looking at our high temperature that we had today, 76 degrees. That's something I definitely cannot complain about. That was our observed high today, and our average high is 62 degrees. We were 14 degrees above our average high, and our record high 89 degrees. That's been in the books since 1930. Now, looking at radar, you could actually see that a recycling plant fire earlier on today, and this is still a little bit visible on radar from what it was earlier today. You can't see that anymore, which is a good thing. But across the area, we are dry. We are bone dry. And zooming in here, take a closer look real quick. Here it was earlier this afternoon, and since fizzled out. Zooming out here, we can actually see the big picture here. We're really just dry across the Great Plains, even the Great Lakes as well. You really just have to go out to the northeast to really see any rain that's anywhere close to us at all. So we are dry. In fact, we're, again, too dry across the area. We have a fire weather watch for I'm having a moment, sorry. Jay County and Blackford County, thank you. With Muncie, Winchester, and Anderson, you guys are not in a fire weather watch, but parts south of that are not in that either. But we could see some elevated fire danger tomorrow regardless. Now, this is from very low humidity, a lack of recent rain, and dead fuels such as crops. Those are going to be mixing together tomorrow, and they could create some elevated fire danger, so to be sure to avoid any outdoor burning as we go throughout tomorrow. Now, tonight we'll see overnight lows into the upper 40s, a bit breezy as we get into the later parts of the day. Now, looking into tomorrow, we'll see 49 degrees at around 8 a.m. That'll be, again, our overnight low, increased to around 69 degrees by noon and 77 degrees for our afternoon high temperature as we get into tomorrow. Beautiful day to go golfing. Now, taking a look at your 7-day forecast, we stay in the 70s as we get into Thursday and Friday as well. Now, we do stay in the 70s on Saturday, but that's when we start to see a system approach, bringing us some rain and storm chances. We look to see that continue into Sunday as well.
Yeah, it looks like it's beautiful the rest of the week, and then Sunday kind of goes down a little bit, but I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. Today I got to go outside a little bit, which was nice. I don't know about you.
Oh my
you
gosh,
get to go outside
yeah, I took
today?
my little bit of walk there.
Yeah. It's very, it was very nice out today, and I'm excited to get into those 80s.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people playing like basketball and tennis, like
Yeah.
outside. That's so fun.
Hammocking. I don't know if you're into hammocking, but a lot of people on campus go hammocking, so that's all good. Thank you so much, Lance. And now we're going to toss things over to Max Robson with sports.
Thanks, Tara and Anna. Ball State is home to one professor with a unique invention, and a Cardinal athlete looks to soar in her sophomore season. All that and more next in sports.
Here's your sandwich, miss.
Oh, thank you.
And your burger.
Awesome, thank you.
And your bowl of boiling water, sir.
After retiring from the NFL, I've been able to spend a lot more time coaching my daughter's basketball teams. It's something I love to do. Through our games and our tournaments, we see all types of coaching, good and bad. And it begs the question, do we really know who's coaching our kids? Do they have the proper training and screening it would take for me to be comfortable with my daughters playing for that coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to screen and train all of our coaches. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
So if one cat has 4 kittens who reproduce every 6 months, how many cats will there be in 5 years? Who's got it? Is this... What is that? Seriously. Who threw that?
Cats are terrible at math, but they sure do multiply. Please spay, neuter, and adopt.
The solution is 10.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Max Robson with sports. Tucked away inside the Teachers College here at Ball State is a man that looks to do the impossible. NewsLink Indiana's Andy Newman has more.
Ball State University has been home to game changers on every level. From David Letterman to Jim Davis, the university has seen it all. But Ball State's next game changer is like none before.
My name is Nick Elam, creator of the Elam Ending and also assistant professor of educational leadership at Ball State.
Nick Elam, a former principal and now teaching professor, is the author of the Elam Ending, an idea that came to him in 2007 that aims to change the game of basketball forever.
In a nutshell, the Elam Ending is a format where you play most of the game with a game clock and you play the last part of the game without a game clock. It was thinking about all these different phenomena that we see, these flaws that we see late in basketball games, realizing that they were all attributable in some way to the game clock, and then thinking, well, what would happen if you just got rid of the game clock at the end of the game and played to a target score instead? Even at first, I was skeptical. I thought there must be some fatal flaw that I must be overlooking. I actually convinced myself that the idea had merit, and then the really tough part started, which was trying to convince other people in the basketball world that the idea had merit.
Changing one of the world's most beloved games is no easy feat, but for Elam, it was all about persistence.
What I didn't know at the time in 2007 is that it would take 10 years of outreach to people to finally see it implemented for the first time in 2017. I always felt like that whole time I felt like I was one day away from a major breakthrough. Again, what I didn't know is that it would take 10 years before that breakthrough came.
That breakthrough came at TBT, the basketball tournament, a summer tournament on ESPN, and it didn't stop there.
Certainly a huge breakthrough was in 2020 when the NBA wanted to implement the idea at the All-Star game. This idea of seeing the greatest players in the world all on one court playing under this format that I had devised was just an honor beyond what I can describe.
For those who say Elam's ending will ruin the game, Elam has one thing to say.
I love the game. I think basketball is a beautiful, wonderful game. I think this is just a way to make a great game even greater.
Elam's idea continues to be experimented by the NBA and other basketball organizations and could one day become basketball's new official finish. In Muncie, Andy Newman, NewsLink, Indiana.
On the hardwood, basketball in Muncie just got a whole lot better. The transfer portal has been busy in college basketball as Ball State lands 2 new faces to the team. Junior guard Jalen Anderson heads to Muncie from Loyola Marymount after a season averaging 9.8 points per game. The Cardinals also add another perimeter pickup with a 4-year guard, Ethan Watts. Watts and Anderson look to replace the void left by several former players next season. To take things to the diamond, Ball State softball is led by one athlete on the mound. NewsLink Indiana's David Rodriguez met up with Angelina Russo in the midst of her spectacular season.
This sophomore season has been an interesting one for Cardinal softball pitcher Angelina Russo. Russo comes off a freshman campaign, winning multiple awards. With the success, she doesn't shy away from expectations, not only from others, but from herself as well.
I did have big expectations for myself. I expected me to do the same things that I did and then better. I had to kind of change those expectations because putting those expectations was just too much pressure to put on anybody, especially yourself.
Even with the change in expectations, Russo still knows where her true goals lie.
I just wanted to be good enough for my team to win the MAC championship and be good enough to take us home.
Along with success on the field, head coach Lacey Scher feels Russo was not only special on the field, but off it as well.
As a player, she definitely brings a special changeup. You know, not a lot of people are going to be able to barrel that pitch up. As a person, that's the part that just makes me smile about Lena. You know, she is so much fun off the field. Her personality, you know, she just brings a lot to this program.
With Russo as a key component in this program, she stands out from the rest as a player by being
gritty, do whatever it takes. Like, it doesn't matter to have your A, B, or C game. Like, you just try to work with what you got and get it done.
Russo and the Cardinals will finish off their series at Western Michigan tomorrow afternoon. In Muncie, David Rodriguez, NewsLink, Indiana.
So it really doesn't ever seem like the fall sports come to an end, even any college sports, especially when it comes to things like the transfer portal. We just lost 2 players, and now I'm really looking forward to these new ones.
Yeah, thank you so much, Max. Thanks, Max. After the break, we'll take a look at a new image from the James Webb Space Telescope.
Plus, one final look at weather.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Just like the rules to surviving Zombieland, there are steps you can take to be prepared for an emergency.
It's the right thing to do.
Talk with your family to make a plan. Look for safe areas to meet up if separated. And stock up on supplies. It's never too early to get prepared, so start now.
Right now?
Right now. You can't predict emergencies, but you can be ready.
You're welcome, America.
Visit ready.gov today to learn more.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back. The James Webb Space Telescope has captured never-before-seen details in the remnants of an exploded star. Cassiopeia A is the youngest known supernova remnant in our galaxy, located 11,000 light years away. The new infrared image has been translated into visible light. A bright green loop captured in the image has also captured the interest of researchers. They gave it the nickname Green Monster in honor of Fenway Park in Boston.
Google has a new experiment updates page for its AI chat box, Bard. The company says it lets people check out the latest features, improvements, and fixes for Bard. That way, people can test them out and give feedback. In its first update, Google says it's working to improve Bard's math and logic skills.
And Lance has one final look at that weather.
Yeah, dry and 70s through the work week, but we're looking at some rain and storm potential for the weekend. Have to keep an eye on those. We could see maybe some strong, maybe some severe thunderstorms, but when we approach those days, we'll have a better idea on it. Be sure to stick with us at NLI Weather on Facebook and Twitter for that.
Thank you so much, Lance. That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night.